Today in this 2013 Chevrolet Silverado, we're going to review and install CURT EZr double lock underbed gooseneck trailer hitch, part number C611-624. All right, this is what the hitch looks like when it's installed in the bed of our truck. Nice part about our hitch here is that you have full access to the bed of your truck, so it's not like you even have a hitch in here. Let's go ahead and pop off the cover and take a look at it. It's a nice cover, it plugs right into it. It's got a nice cool chrome trim ring. We can reach in and pull out our hitch ball. So when you're ready to use your gooseneck trailer, let's go ahead and just flip it over, put it back in. There's a little knob on the inside there for us to guide into. And we just go ahead and lock the handle and you're good to go. All right. Now, our hitch also comes with two safety chain hookups. So you're spring loaded, so you just go ahead and pull them up and lock your safety chains into place. Now our hitch is going to be rated for 6,000 pounds of tongue weight, which is the weight pushing down on the hitch ball, and it's good for 30,000 pounds of pull weight. Now always double check with your owner's manual to make sure that your truck can handle these kinds of weights. A couple of neat details about our CURT hitch is that, for one, it's a little minor, but I think it's a pretty nice touch. You got this ring or a seal that goes around the edge of the steel of your truck to help protect it after it's been cut. One other nice little detail I like about this, the handle right here. So one nice detail about the handle is how it feels and how it works. Basically, you pull it out, take the bottom handle and rotate it towards the front of the truck, and it stays open and you can take the ball out or put it in as you need to. It's got a nice solid feel to it, so when you need to use it, just rotate it back and let it go back in. Compared to some other makes out there that have a little bit thinner handle, this one actually feels a little bit easier. First off, we need our spare tire out of the way. Our exhaust may or may not need to be lowered down. This section of the heat shield right here has to be removed so we have room for the rails to go across and the hitch in the center. If we need to lower our exhaust, all we gotta do is remove the rubber hangers here. I'm just using a pry bar. We can go ahead and pull them off. Okay, now if we go past our axle, you'll notice there's two more rubber hangers right here. We can spray those down with some spray lubricant. We can go ahead and pry those loose. So let's give it a little more flexibility to move around as needed. Now when we cut our heat shield, I'm just going to cut it right here using a cutting wheel. You can also use some tin snips, but it takes a lot longer to do it that way. And when we go to this hat channel here, we're going to cut it off as flush as possible to our hat channel here. And this whole section will be out of our way. All right, next we need to make a notch in the sheet metal right here so we can get our cross rail into place. So I'm just going to follow this natural edge right here and cut it out using some tin snips. Now some trucks have a plastic liner that's inside here. You may have to take that down and out of the way to get to this point as well. All right, now while we're here, let's go ahead and put our cross rail into place. We want this long flat section going towards the front of a truck. Push it as far as we can, go underneath the truck, pick up the rest of it, and slide it over. Now we'll go ahead and set in our other crossbar here. A couple details. One, take one of the hitch bolts, 1/2 inch diameter, and run through threads to help clean them out so you don't have any surprises once it's in the truck. Two, you notice that this hole is offset to one side than the other. So when we have it in final position, it'll actually sit in the truck like this, and we want the holes closer to the frame. So let's slide this over flat, and then we'll go ahead and rotate it up. Now it'll bottom out against the bed a little bit, so grab it with some channel locks and just rotate it like that. Let's go ahead and get our center section ready to go. We want to make sure that our offset on our hitch ball here is pointing down to the ground for now for us. And then we're going to take these 1.5 inch long by 1/2 inch carriage bolts. We're going to run through like that, and then we're going to have one of these keepers. I'm just going to push it on. You can probably thread a lot of it on there just like that to help hold the bolt in place when we put this up to one of the cross rails. We'll go ahead and do it one more time for this slot right here. Two more things to get ready. One, we need a hardware that'll thread on here, so check for flange nuts that'll work with them. You'll need two of these. You'll need an extra set of hands to help hold it up. Go ahead and lift up in position. We'll slide it over the heat shield for your exhaust. We can let it sit on top of the exhaust, and then we'll hold it up into place. We'll line it up with the bolt holes. All right. Now before we put our rear crossbar up to the center part of our hitch, we'll go ahead and put this center locator and trim shield into the hole first. With our hitch loosely in place right now, we'll go ahead and put it in the correct spot. We'll do that by using our frame bracket right here. Now we'll install our hardware for our second cross rail here. Our 1/2-inch bolts, hex head with a conical tooth washer. Always make sure the teeth in this conical tooth washer always face towards the hitch. Now we got our center section loosely attached with our hardware. We'll go ahead and do the same thing with the remaining openings using the same hardware. Now there's only one variance on one bolt. On the hole right here above the gas tank, same carriage bolt, but you get this block right here which goes into the carriage bolt like that, and then through our crossbar and our hitch. Then we'll install the same flange nut. Now with all our hardware loosely installed, go ahead and take a few moments using a 3/4-inch wrench, and we'll just snug all the parts together. We don't want to tighten them up, but just snug them up to take the gap between the cross rails and the center hitch. These two holes, this one and this one, will line up with two existing holes in the frame of the truck. So basically all we need to do is move our hitch forward or back as needed to make sure that our bracket fits in between the rails and that our frame bracket lines up with our holes. We'll do this on both sides. All right, at this point we can go ahead and start installing hardware for our frame brackets. We're going to install this block and this larger 5/8 carriage bolt. We're going to install it on the inside of the frame. It will look like this on the inside. So we'll take the provided bolt leader. We're going to run it through the hole we're going to use first, and then try to aim it up if you can, up over top here into this access hole right here. We'll take our block, push it over a wire and into the frame. Then we'll take our bolt, we'll go ahead and thread it onto the bolt leader, and we'll gently push it into the frame. It may help to do it head first into the slot, then push it in. Okay, we'll pull it through. May have to rattle it around a little bit to make it pull through. And we'll leave it just like that for now. We'll go ahead and repeat that same process for a hole over here. Now we're finished with our driver's side. One more time over on the passenger side. Now let's go ahead and loosely install our frame bracket. Let's take our wires, that go to our bolts. We'll run them through their matching holes. We'll get those started through. Then we'll go ahead and put our bracket into place. Doesn't matter too much if we push the bolts back in because we got our bolt leaders to pull them right back out. So we'll pull them out, let the weight of a bracket kind of pinch them. We'll go ahead and remove our bolt leaders and then install our flange nuts. All right, now let's go ahead and install our hardware that connects the frame bracket to our cross rails. With more of these big blocks and the same size carriage bolt. Same thing that went inside the frame. We'll push it through the hole this way. Make sure it seats all together. And another flange nut. On this side, a little different. Regular 1/2-inch hex bolt and a conical tooth washer. Remember, teeth always face towards the hitch. Go ahead and thread it on in. We got our hardware installed for this side. Let's do it one more time over on the passenger side. All right, all our hardware loosely installed, but kind of snugged up where it takes up the gaps. One last thing to check to make sure that our center of our hitch is in the center of the bed of our truck. All right, at this point, we can go ahead and start tightening down our hardware. We're gonna start off with the frame brackets going to the frame. We'll hand tighten. Then we'll use a torque wrench to tighten them down properly. Okay, now we'll go ahead and tighten and torque the bolts going from our center section of our hitch to our cross rails. And finally, we'll tighten and torque our bolts going from our frame brackets to our cross rails. Now with our hitch all tightened down, we can go ahead and cut out the hole in the bed of the truck for our hitch ball. We'll go ahead and use a 3/16 drill bit, and we'll line it up with the guide that's previously installed, and we'll drill out our bed. Now for our safety chain loops, we'll drill out here and here. Now I found a drill bit that matched the hole size right here, so let's use that to mark my center. One side done, we'll repeat the same process on the other side. Now with our pilot holes here, we'll go ahead and drill out to our final hole size for our U-bolts. Now we'll take our pilot hole for our hitch in the center. we'll go ahead and expand it to 1/4 inch. That way it'll work for our guide for our hole saw. Okay. All right. When you're careful with it, you'll just hit the orange right here. You know when to stop and pull it up and out of our way. All right, we're hole drilled out. Let's go ahead and put a little protective ring that comes with the kit. It just simply pushes on into place. Now, it can be a little bit tight in sections, so you're gonna have to have some patience with this. Once you get it started, it may help to use a screwdriver, the flat side, to kind of push up against it and help work it into place. With this little seal in place, we can go ahead and put our trim ring on. We'll line up the holes, then we'll install our hardware. Now to tighten these down, I use a 7/64 Allen key. Okay, next we'll go ahead and work on our U-bolts for our safety chains. Now chances are you may have drilled them out to the right size, but they may not be perfect. So what you can do is use a step bit, which will actually finish it off a little bit nicer. And you can always go oversized, it won't hurt a thing. Okay, one last trip underneath the truck. We'll go ahead and put our hardware below our U-bolts. Now hardware will consist of a flat washer, this spring, another flat washer, and a lock nut. Same on both sides of the U-bolt. Okay, we'll repeat the same process on our other U-bolt. Okay, now using a 15/16 socket, we'll go ahead and tighten down the lock nut just a few threads past the end of the nut. Okay, now let's go ahead and work on our handle assembly. Now let's go and piece it together on the outside because it's a little bit easier to see when we put it underneath the truck. Basically, this handle will go through the frame bracket. We'll go through a washer, this spring, another washer, then it'll go into the pin right here. Now you'll have to rotate this handle around a little bit to make sure you get the bolt to go in. And then on the other side, once you have it through, you'll install a small lock nut. So let's go ahead and install our handle through this opening right here. Then we'll go underneath the truck. So make sure our handle goes through this hole here that's in the center section of the hitch, and then this little tab right here. We'll go ahead and push it through and just leave it alone for now. Now our locking pin, we'll go ahead and put into our hitch. Let's go ahead and put on our washer, and then our spring. We'll push the rod through. And we got our bolt inside here and a nut on this side here. And we use a 7mm socket and wrench. All right, at this point we can go ahead and reinstall our exhaust now. And also our spare tire if you took it down. Everything's installed. Last little detail, let's go ahead and put our hitch ball in. And that'll finish it for the CURT EZr double lock underbed gooseneck trailer hitch. Part number C611-624 on this 2013 Chevrolet Silverado.
Click the link below to shop, learn more, or visit us at etrailer.com.